Hey guys, it's Masatonic. I'm bilingual Harukist. 皆さん、こんにちは。バイリンガルハルキストのマサトニックです。Haruki Murakami, book guide short story 33, The Iceman. So, in this video, I'd like to talk about Murakami's short story, which is called The Iceman. In just one sentence, this is a Murakami's fairy tale. It's a really beautiful and and beautiful and a little bit sad story, I think, but it's very interesting. So if you never tried this one, I hope this video would make you want to read this book or make you want to read it again. So let's get started. As always, this video consists of 3 parts. First, overview, second, story, and third, deep reading or reading tips from me. So first, overview. This one firstly appeared in the New Yorker in 2003 February, and after that contained in short story collection blindwillowsleepingwoman in 2007 July. And in Japan, it's also contained in another collection of short story, which is called Lexington Ghost in 1996 December. No, November, sorry. And then, but unfortunately, the Lexington Ghost as a collection of short story has not published in English market. It's only in Japan. In Japanese version is available. The majority of the works which is contained in their short story collection is as this work translated into English, and basically it's contained in the Blind Widow Sleeping Women. Right, and like I said, this is a kind of Murakami's fairy tale. And in Japan, it's kind of interesting. As I write it here, in short story collection, which is contained in the Lexington Ghost, but firstly appeared some kind of interesting book. This is one. In Japanese, Murakami Haruki book. So in English, if I put it in English, Haruki Murakami book, it's a kind of a special edition of the Murakami's, how to say, Murakami's work. It's published by some publisher, and it's published in 1991, and it's kind of a how to say, including some Murakami's short work and English version and interview, and also Murakami's translation work like a Fitzgerald translation, and Murakami's interview with John Irving and something like that. Such a contained in Murakami's many kind of works. It's kind of very interesting one, the Murakami Haruki book. So when this one published, a 2 short story is written for this book. And one is this, the Iceman, and other is the Little Green Monster. So both are very short but very interesting story. So that is in Japanese first case, which is published published this the Iceman. So what kind of story? Let's take a look at it. As I said, this one is not a very short story, but how to say, unlike other Murakami's short story, this was the story itself, or how this story ended, is kind of, to me, it's very important. And because what I want to say here is some Murakami's work, or I think majority of Murakami's work, the story itself and how that story ended, especially short one, is not so important. Much more the writing style or some theme or some metaphor is much more important. So if reader know how the story ended, is not so much. It doesn't matter if a reader really understand or really enjoy the story or not. So basically, in my video, I talked about kind of a summary of the story. In a way, I would say how the story ended in other videos, but this one is I try not to say that because how the story ended is very much important, I think, especially this one. So I talk about how this story began. So first thing, the protagonist is a young woman around 20s, and she went to skiing with her friends, and at the hotel, she had encountered with the Iceman, and then uh, what the Iceman is not directly depicted. What is Iceman is a kind of a key, uh, how to say, core of this story. So, but anyway, she encountered with Iceman, and she had very become interested in him, and so she had talked. She had started to talk with him, and then their relationship had started. After returning to the ski journey, the two were become so close. So almost every weekend they are seeing with each other and dating and much more close. And then finally they get married. But as I said earlier, the protagonist, a young female, is just around 20. So her family is really against their marriage. Because one reason is her age, because she's too young to marry. And also another more major issue is the Iceman itself. Iceman is not like ordinary human beings. To be honest, it's difficult to understand what's really Iceman is a really human being or not. So that's the reason why her family really against their marriage. But she insists she will marry. So kind of let's say the relationship with her family is almost broken, and she decided marriage with the Iceman. But at first, their married life is very happy one. But the Iceman had started to work uh, in this kind of warehouse, and on the other hand, uh, the woman, the protagonist, just keep on house and doing house chore, but after doing her duty, she had nothing to do, and the everyday is same patterns repeated. So such a monotonous days had started, and then she's so young, so that kind of monotonous, boring day is unendurable. So she wanted something, and she wanted to change her patterns of her life, and so she had planned the journey. So the destination is doesn't matter to her, but she just planning journeys to the Antarctic, because the somewhere such a kind of cold places seem to uh, inter- intrigued with the Iceman. So she proposed the husband about the journey to Antarctic, and the husband kind of uh, surprised to her proposal. But if you really want to go there, um, okay, I will go with you. And then their journey to Antarctic had decided, and then they go to there, and then story had happened, and with end. That is the kind of beginning, and how the story going on is this. It's kind of brief summary, and like I said, it's short. So after Antarctic, the life in Antarctica is depicted, and the story would end there. But the how story end is, to me, it's very important, and also kind of very how to say it, to me, it's like picturesque, or maybe the word picturesque is not so appropriate to describe how the story ended. But to me, it's like not 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 just reading novel, but much more let's say seeing in the picture, To me, that's my impression, how I get from this short story. All right, anyway, so how we could enjoy, we can enjoy. Let's take a look at deep reading. So here's my idea. Let's visit Antarctic. Kind of kidding, but of course, nowadays it's very difficult to travel around the world. But if you have an opportunity to visiting Antarctic, it's very good chance to, how to say, to experience the iceman's world. So visiting Antarctic is the first tips. And also second one, imagine Antarctic language. To be honest, I'm not sure what kind of language is spoken in the Antarctic, but as a language, when I Googled it, sorry, I'm not so, how to say, I don't have so much knowledge about the language itself, but so when I Google it, there's no language, Antarctic language, but as depicted in the novel, I think this language, something like Icelandic. And in Iceland, there is language of Iceland, Icelandic is there. And then that language, I don't know, you know, but it's one of the most difficult language in the world to almost every foreigners. Now, I know one episode about this. Iceland has a volcano, and I don't know, back in some decades or ago, and that volcano had erupted, and that eruption is so huge. So, and then there are so many influences around the world. So, and there's so many media had broadcast about it, like BBC or CNN, and etc., etc. But the almost every part of the such a news media, the announcer can't pronounce the volcano's name because it's too difficult to say in Icelandic. The volcano's name is Icelandic name, of course, so it's very difficult to say. It's compared to say Mount Fuji in Japan, Fuji-san, and in English we can say call it Mount Fuji. It's not so difficult to put it, but compared that, I forgot the name, and of course I can't say the mountain's name or volcano's name. So it's so difficult to too difficult to pronounce it every for a news announcer. So like that Icelandic is very difficult. So and then the sound of Icelandic is quite similar, some descripted in the Iceman story. And then now, if you didn't know about what kind of language Icelandic is, when you Google it on, just search it in YouTube, there is some kind of list, Icelandic lesson is there. So you can tell what kind of a sound and how difficult the Icelandic is, you can tell. But sorry, if you are familiar with Icelandic and you really like the language, sorry, there's no intent to, how to say, offend Icelandic itself. And when I Google it in YouTube, and when I hear the Icelandic sound, I think it's very beautiful sound of it. So, but to me, at least to me, it's very difficult. But anyway, so maybe Icelandic is kind of similar to Antarctic. So you can tell what kind of language Iceman spoke. So, and the third, let's think about meaning of the story. Like I said, this is a very, very picturesque story. So, and then ending is so memorable and kind of beautiful, I think. But what kind of, how to say, Murakami has always said, basically the work or story is just story. There's no intent to tell something, so-called author's message. Murakami is not such a writer. He himself said, and I think so too. Maybe, of course, a reader learn from something or receive some message is, of course, totally up to each reader. But basically, The author doesn't have any intent to send some message, just he make a story itself. So how should we receive? It's totally up to each reader. But still, it's I think it's worth to think about what kind of message or say metaphor in it in this story. So the thinking about it is very good way to deep reading. To me, or I think in this case, the existence of the Iceman itself is, of course, the key. It's titled, and their existence, their isolation, uh, is very important and very memorable. So let's think about it. What it's what's the Iceman's existence imply? It's a very good way to read deeply. Right. Anyway, so thank you for watching so far. I hope this video might want you read Murakami's novel, or might you read again because it's so interesting. Right. So thank you again. So if you liked this video, please give me a good rate, and I would appreciate if you subscribe my channel. Like this, I posted this kind of book guide video to the 3 per week. So I hope see you next video as well. So until then, see you, bye.